Hello everyone. Going to do a neat little tutorial this morning for Cinema 4D, and what we're going to make today is a pipe elbow, and that's just a fitting that would be a 45-degree shaped fitting that would use to route piping. So it's pretty straightforward, and we'll go ahead and get started. Let's open up Cinema 4D, and we'll begin by going into our primitives menu and grabbing ourselves a tube. So we'll put a tube into position. Now what we're going to do is we're going to grab that center area, you'll see right here. We're going to move that outward so that we can thin down the walls of this tube. Okay, so that looks pretty good. Now the next step we need to do is make this editable. So while it's selected, and you can see it in your layout manager, let's right click the tube and choose Make Editable. Okay, so now that that's editable, we need to make sure it's selected, and we're going to move the axis on this guy over to the edge. Let's go up to the top view and get a look at that. That axis, what we're moving, is where this object is going to pivot whenever we manipulate its surfaces. So I'll zoom in a little closer. We want that to be just outside of the edge of that material or that surface. Not on it, not in it, but just outside of it. Alright. Now we need to look at it from the side view here. So let's look at that guy. Zoom out here. And we need to bring it up to that top corner. Okay. And the same thing with this. We need to have it just up above, not below, just up above, tiny piece. Right? And just in a tiny piece. So you can see that what we'd like to have is almost a straight arrow from this corner point to here. If we're up too high, we're going to have some weird shaping happen when we rotate this, and if we're too low, we're going to pinch the material back in, or the surface back into itself. So just try to visualize a line connecting these two so that we're at a nice, well, almost a 45-degree angle. Alright, so that looks good. Now, let's take a look at this guy. What we're going to do is we're going to select all these top surfaces here. This is our axis rotation modification tool. We need to disable that now. Right? In order for us to have moved this positioning here, we needed to have that enabled. See, because it's disabled now, if we click on this, it moves the whole object. We don't want to do that. We want, if we needed to move that axis, we would have this button chosen, and see how it now moves that axis. Okay, we need to disable this and then go into the surface selection tool. Right. Now we're going to select all the top areas on this tube. Let's go back into the top view. And this can be done by control clicking. We've got one selected, shift click to select multiples, and we're going to go all the way around and select all of the top surfaces here. Bear with me, we're working our way around. Alright, so now all of our top surfaces are selected. Let's go back to the perspective view. Everything's orange, meaning they're selected. And at this point, we're going to remove our axis, now that those surfaces are selected, just the same way that we just done before. Okay? So let's step into the top view, make sure we're just outside that. We'll step into side view, make sure we're just up. We're going to do that same thing that we did before, where we've got that imaginary 45-degree line. Let's get in close so you can see that good. See, we just need to be up at a nice little angle here. About like that. So, alright, we can step out now. Okay, here's what we're going to do. We're going to take off our axis modification selection. We're going to use model mode. Alright, and at this point, we're going to have our move tool, and we're going to press Control and then raise this up. You'll see, as soon as I do that, you'll see a new segment being created. So I'm going to push Control and I'm going to raise that up. Alright? See, we've got another section that's been created. Okay, now we're going to start our rotation process. Alright, we're going to grab our rotation tool and we're going to begin rotating with this blue axis that's here. So with Control press, click, and you're going to rotate downward, and you'll see a new section be created here. We're going to create them over and over and over, very tiny, so that we increment our way up to where we're completely rotated 90 degrees. So hold Control down, click, right? Hold Control down, click, drag, click, drag, click, drag, and you'll see how we're just working our way into a nice rotation here. It's easy to misclick here and have it rotating in a different axis. So if you do, just do Control Z on your keyboard and it'll undo any mistake that you might have made. So we're looking pretty good there. If you try to get these incremental rotations approximately the same distance, things will turn out better. You'll see that I've got one that's a little wide here, some that's a little narrower, but just try to slow down and take your time and you'll get those where they all look much more symmetrical. Now, what else is tricky here is at the very end of this, you want to be approximately 90 degrees from this bottom surface so that it doesn't have a distorted look to it. So we're getting there. And you might want to back out at this point and get a look at it. That's pretty close. We're not quite 90 degrees, but it's real close. Maybe one more tiny. There we go. That looks about right. Okay, so we've made our rotation. Now we need to extend it out so we've got another long piece towards the bottom. So get our Move tool and we're going to click and drag this out like we've got us a piece of pipe elbow going on. Okay, so at this point we can get a quick render, and looks pretty good. All right, nice and neat. So if we want, we can go ahead and click off of that so that nothing's selected and go and create ourselves another tube. All right, we're going to reduce its overall dimensions, right? And we're going to make the tube portion look more narrow like in the previous one that we've done. I'm going to drag that down to get a look at it. I can go a little bit smaller. Right, there we go. And I can make this guy, let me bring it down so I can get a look at it. Alright, let's extend that up, make it a little bit taller, back out of that some. Okay, so now we've got a piece of pipe going into our elbow. It needs to be a little bit fatter. So let's see what we do here. Whoops, moved it. Made it a little bit too thin, so I'm going to fatten it up a touch. And then push that guy back up in there. There we go. Now we got us a piece of pipe in our elbow. Alright, so we can copy that pipe. Control C, Control V. Move this guy over here. And rotate it 90 degrees. Oops, went the wrong way with the 90. Let's see here. Rotate it this way, 90. Alright. Now we can move that guy up into position. Move it out a bit. Move it down some so that it's in the position there. Get a good look at it and everything looks right. Get a quick render here. Alrighty. So let's move everything up here. And we'll take and get a render of that guy. So I hope that helps. It's pretty straightforward, and pause this video as you go through for your first time, but you'll see that this is a pretty straightforward way to do that. You can give your pipe more detail by adding more segments to it before you make it editable, your elbow that is, and of course it'll mean you've got more selections to make, but overall you'll get a much smoother looking surface once you apply your material to it. So I hope that's been a help to you, and I've got more basic and intermediate tutorials coming up in the future. So if you like my videos, please click like, and if you would, subscribe to my channel if you feel that this is something that you'd like to see more of. So hope that helped. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.